The next sutram we're going to take up now is a very famous sutram, Karmanyan, 3 to 1 Karmanyan. Now, this sutram we actually already referred to when we were talking about the Sanya Upapadam, because in the vritti of this sutram Upapadam, the sutram Tatropapadam Tatropapadam Saptamistham, it says that Saptamyante Pade Karmani Ityadav. So at that time, if you recall, we have already referred to this sutram Karmanyan. So it was given as a classic example of how a Saptamyantam Padam can point to a Upapadam. So let's look at this sutram in detail now. Karmanyan. The Padacheda of this sutram is Karmani An. So the affix An is being prescribed, and we are in the adhikara of dhatoho, which starts from 3191, which we have been studying for the last many rules. So dhatoho an syat, dhatoho an pratyaya syat. So the affix an may be used after a verbal root. Didn't say which verbal root. Samanyena vidhanam. So this says that any verbal root could take the affix an. What is the condition on here? The condition is that karmani. This karmani is saptamyantam padam, is saptami ekavachanam of karman pradipadikam. So now we know by tatropapadam saptamistham that this karmani, which is saptamyantam padam, it says that this affix an may be used after any dhatuho, but only on the condition that the object of the action, not actually the physical object, but a word, a term denoting the object of the action, should be in composition, should be close by, should co-occur with this kridantam. So when you say kumbham karoti iti kumbhakaraha, so this kumbha, the pot, is the object. And since you're talking about vyakaranam, which is shabda shastram, we cannot have the physical pot as the upadam. So the word kumbha, that kumbha, that should be in upapadam, that should be in composition here. Not the word karmani, but the term which has the karma sanya. In fact, a word which denotes an object, which is the object of the action. So in this case, kumbha, that kumbha is the upapadam. So this is a classic example of applying the sutram tatropapadam saptamistham. Look at the saptamyantam padam in the sutram, in this case karmani, and that points to a upapadam. It is the saptamistham, means that is which is in the saptamyantam padam. We have karman. So not the word karman, but the thing which it stands for. It stands for the object of the action, and the physical object cannot get any sanya in vyakaranam. So we take a term like kumbha, which stands for that which denotes the object of the action. So kumbha gets the upapad-sanya, and this affix an may only be used on the condition that a word like kumbha is in upapadam, is composition, is used close by. Now, one little caution over here is that we just said that dhator an syat, which is samanyena vidhanam. Even though it is samanyena vidhanam, we still have to respect shishta prayogaha, that we cannot just recklessly use these rules to form words which are not in usage in the language. For example, adityam pashyati. Now, adityam pashyati looks like it should qualify for karmanyan, shouldn't it? Because somebody is watching the sun. Now, does he become aditya darshaha? He does not, because such kinds of words are not used in the language. So we have to be a bit careful that a dhatuhu may take the affix an. It doesn't have to. So we have to follow the guidelines as we see in the language. Okay. So this is a sutram where we should be careful not to create forms at random which are not respected in the language. So that's one little warning. The best way to do this is read good authors how they use these words, and then use similar words. That is the best way. Like we use in any other language, we have to learn the accepted usage. See, vyakaranam wise it may be allowed. That doesn't mean that every dhatu with every kind of um, karmani upapade can take the affix an. So we have to be careful with that. Okay, now let us look at what is called as first. Look at the meaning in English. The affix an may be used after a verbal root because of the adhikara of dhatoho when in composition, because this is upapade, because karmanya upapade with a padam which denotes the object of the action. So the laukika vigraha vakyam, let's take an example. Kumbham karoti iti kumbhakaraha, derived from dukrinkarane with the upapadam kumbha. So kumbha gets the upapad-sञ by tatra uppadam saptamistham, which we just discussed, and now we're allowed to add the affix an to dhatu kru based on the promise that we are going to use it in composition with kumbha. So with an object which is in this case kumbha. So these steps are straightforward. Anubandha lopaha, halantyam tasya lopaha. Then we got sarvadhatuka ardhatuka yoho and uran raparaha gunadeshaha. So you get kar a, then atopadhayaha. We get the form kar. So kar is a krudantam. It is not a, it's a pratipadikam. It's not a subantam. It's a krudantam. And now we go and form the compound. So the alaukika vigraha vakyam, the technical breakdown of the compound is kumbha nyas plus kara. This compounding is authorized by the sutram uppapadam ating. Uppapadam ating, which we have studied. Uppapadam ating. This sutram said that उपपदम सुबंतम समर्थ्य नित्यम समस्यते तिंगंतश्चायम अतिंगंतश्चायम समासः अतिंगंतश्च ayam समासः. So we are allowed to compound a term which has a sajna upapadam. So upapadam subantam. In this case, kumbham. Kumbha plus nyas. With another related term, with another syntactically related term, doesn't have to be a subantam. So a subantam upapadam compound with a related term which doesn't have to be a subantam. So samarthena shabdantarena nityam samasyate. And nityam means that we cannot have a laukika vigraha vakyam which is a swapada vigraha vakyam. In order to express the vigraha vakyam, we have to use some other words over here. So we said kumbham karoti to kumbhakaraha. We cannot just say kumbhasyakaraha. We cannot do that. So that is called a nitya samasa, which also we have seen before. Nitya samasa is where there we cannot keep a swapada vigraha vakyam. Where there cannot be a swapada vigraha vakyam is called a nitya samasaha. So here now we have kumbha, which is the upapadam. So kumbha nyas plus kara. So this compound is authorized by 2219 upapadam ating. Now why are we using this nyas suffix? Why are we using shashti ekvachanam? Because here we had kumbham karoti. So looks like we should be using the dvitiya ekvachanam. How about why not kumbha plus Why kumbha plus nyas? Okay, now that is a topic which is not the main topic right now. It is the topic of assigning these vibhaktis, these vibhakti affixes, and that is a topic which is discussed in Ashtadhyayi in the third quarter of the second chapter of the Ashtadhyayi. Third quarter of the second chapter. So these are, any vibhakti assignment has to be done by a sutram, maybe a vartikam, in the third quarter of the second chapter of the Ashtadhyayi. And there we have an important sutram which we won't look at in detail right now. It says kartru karmanoho kriti. Anuvritti of shashti is coming from here. Vritti of shashti is coming from here. So this sutram says that the agent as well as the object of an action takes the shashti vibhakti when it is related in meaning to a krudantam, kriti. So when in connection, meaning wise, with a kridantam, with a krit pratyaya, means a term ending in krit, kridantam. At that time, the agent as well as the object, right now of course we are interested in the object, kumbham, kumbha is the object, that takes a shashti bhakti. So that this one now sets aside our usual rule, which is karmani dvitiya. Karmani dvitiya says that in the sense of to express the object of an action, dvitiya vibhakti has to be used. That is a general rule. But now this special rule 2365 says that if that object is in connection with a kridantam, a participle form, then we have to use shashti bhakti with that term which denotes the object. So this is a special rule. It's a very important rule which we will study in detail when we study the Karaka Prakaranam. For the time being, you can just simply note that when the agent or the object of an action is meaning-wise connected to a kridantam, then we have to use a shashti bhakti with that agent or the object, the term which denotes the agent or the object. So that is why, so this is in very short, we're doing it today. It's the important Sutram 2365. So this is the Sutram which now sets aside this 232 Karmani Dvitiya, and now we have, because in the Vigraha, in the Alaukika Vigraha Vakyam, we have this Kara. This Kara is Kridantam, of course, because we derived this Kara by adding the affix an, which is sanya of krit, by kridating. Kridating. The an has the krit sanya. So this Kara is Kridantam. And this kumbha is definitely connecting with kara, meaning wise. So therefore, this 2365 comes and says that we cannot use a dvitiya here, we have to use shashti bhakti here. So kumbha plus nyas. On the other hand, in the Laukika Vigraha Vakyam, we were connecting kumbham karoti. This karoti is a tingantam. It is not a krid antam, because krid ating. Krid ating. So this pratyaya tip is not a krit pratyaya. So here we just simply use 232 karmani dvitiya. But here in the Alaukika Vigraha Vakyam, since we have kara, which is a kridantam, in connection with that, we have to use shashti bhakti. So this is important Sutram 2365. It is not the topic right now, but that is what is responsible for bringing in the shashti bhakti here. Yes. And now what happens is that we need to add one more thing over here, is that these two rules which we studied, which is the Prathama Nirdishtam Samasa Upasarjanam 1243 and Upasarjanam Purvam. Upasarjanam Purvam is that in a compound, that which has the Upasarjana Sanya, that is the prior member of the compound. And here in the Samasa Vidhayaka Sutram 2219, Upapodam Ating, the Samasa Vidhayaka Sutram, Upapodam Ating, this term Upapodam is the Prathamantam Padam. Then Prathama Nirdishtam, and it stands for the Upapadam. And we know that the Kumbha, this word Kumbha has the Upapada-sanya because of Tatra Upapadam Saptamistham. So since Kumbha has the Upapada-sanya, and in the Samasa Vidhayaka Sutram, Upapadam is the Prathamantam. So therefore, by Prathama-nirdishtam Samasa Upasarjanam, that this term Kumbha now gets the Upasarjana Sanya. Upasarjana Sanya, because in the Samasa Vidhayaka Sutram, Upapadam is the Prathamantam, and that's what gave the Kumbha, which is the Upapadam in this case, the Upasarjana Sanya. And then we used Upasarjanam Purvam. So this all we discussed in the prior few rules, so it's a chance to practice those now. So this Kumbha, it gets the Upasarjana Sanya by Prathama Nirdishtam Samas Upasarjanam, and then by Upasarjanam Purvam, it is the prior member of the compound. Prior member of the compound. So now we have Kumbha Nyaskara. This entire Samudaya gets the Pradipadika Sanya by Krit Tadhita Samasashtabha. It's a compound, because the compound was authorized by 2219. And finally, we So 1246 gives us the Pratipadika Sanya, and then by 2471 Supo Dhatu Pratipadika Yoho is inside a Dhatu or a Pratipadikam. We cannot, the sup affix takes the look elision. A sup affix cannot survive, it takes the look elision. So by Supo Dhatu Pratipadika Yoho, this nyas, which is of course a sup affix, it takes the look elision, and we finally get the form Kumbhakara. Kumbhakara. This is an adjectival form. In the masculine gender, Pullinge, it will be Ramavat. Kumbhakaraha. Prathama ekavachanam ityadi. Kumbhakaraha, Kumbhakarau, Kumbhakaraha. So it will stand Ramavat Shabdaha. Okay, so let's recap one time. Is that this Karmanyan in this sutram, Karmani is Saptamyantam, and that therefore requires that this affix an may be used after verbal root, because we in the adhikara of dhatoho, on the condition that a term which denotes the object of the action is in upapadam, is in composition. So we took our example, kumbham karoti to kumbhakaraha, and we added the affix an to dhatu kru in this case, to kring karne. We derived the form kara, and then we cannot use kara on this own. We cannot say karoti iti karaha, because this affix an was added only on the condition that there is a term denotes the object of the action which is in upapadam, which is in composition. So we take the object of the action, the word kumbha, which stands for the object, added the affix nyas in this case because of kartakarmanoho kriti, and then compound with kara. The compounding was authorized by upapadam ating, and then because of the prathama nidishtam samasa upasarjanam, this kumbha gets the upasarjana sanya, then upasarjanam purvam. Upasarjanam purvam. So that goes first in the compound, and then we did the supluk by supo dhatu pratipadika yoho, and we got kumbhakara, which is gets the pratipadika sanya by kritta samasascha. So this is the derivation now. So all these steps about applying ekrit pratyaya based on the condition upapadam is there, and then doing the compounding by upapadam ating, and then applying the prathama dirishtam samasa upasarjanam purvam, and finally doing the supluk by supo dhatu pratipadika yoho. All these are going to be standard steps now. They're going to be standard steps. This 3-2-1, this karmanyan, it opens up a section in the Ashtadhyayi. A number of rules from here on, the next 100 rules or so, are most of them are going to be of this type, that they're going to prescribe a krit affix, but based on the condition that is a composition with a appropriate upapadam. So this is going to open up this section now from 3-1 onwards. We are going to see a number of these rules where the steps are going to be all the same steps. We apply the affix based on the condition of the upapadam being there. We do the compounding by upapadam ating, and then we put the upapadam as the purvapadam because of the prathama didisham samasa upasarjanam purvam, and finally the supluk by supo dhatu pratipadika yoho. So it'll be good if we can practice these steps thoroughly right now, so the next few rules will be very easy to apply.